Hello and welcome back to this channel, offering as ever the pickled ginger of criticism in the sushi of discourse. And remember to respect my process as a content provider and subscribe and leave a comment. Kathleen Byron and David Farrar had been unforgettable presences in the 1947 Powell Pressburger classic Black Narcissus, playing the hysterical nun and the taciturn colonial agent with whom she is peevishly infatuated. The filmmakers reunited these remarkable performers 2 years later in The Small Back Room, an intimate, intense wartime drama thriller now re-released on home entertainment platforms. Brilliant on the emotional misery, low-level dread and petty office politics of wartime government. It takes place mostly in London's noirish darkness and rain, except for the sensational final sequence in the bright sunlight of Chesil Beach. Adapted from the autobiographical novel by military scientist Nigel Balchin, this is a film which shows the filmmakers pushing brilliantly at the conventions and constraints of a regular wartime period drama. Any number of British directors might have wanted to take on this story, but the Powell Pressburger authorial flourishes are irresistible. Farrar plays a role not so very far from his Mr. Dean in Black Narcissus, moody and saturnine. He is Sammy, a civilian scientist or backroom boffin in 1943 working for the War Office. Sammy is depressive and an alcoholic, driven to despair by incessant pain from a prosthetic foot, which through vanity and stubbornness he refuses to take off in the presence of his girlfriend Susan, his boss's secretary, radiantly played by Kathleen Byron. Susan lives next door to Sammy, and part of the poignancy of his refusal to remove the fake foot lies in the implication that for all their quasi-domestic intimacy, they may not yet have slept together, or if they have, the experience has been as tense as everything else in their relationship. Certainly office politics mean that they cannot openly acknowledge that they are together. There's a fascinating scene, perhaps inspired by Hitchcock's Spellbound or Wilder's The Lost Weekend, when Sammy has a near mental breakdown trying to resist the lure of whiskey. The story begins when a personable young officer, Captain Stewart, played by Michael Gough, asks Sammy for his help in finding ways to deactivate sinister new booby trap devices which the Nazis are dropping during their air raids. And in this quest lies the film's subtle, brilliant tension. How did Sammy lose his foot? No one ever says, but by the story's end, the answer, or possible answer, is plain enough. So far from being a backroom boy, Sammy is a courageous man of action. He might have lost his foot, but not his nerve. Set against the clarity and urgency of this military mission is a backwash of pettiness and intrigue, a series of insidious problems as dangerous but innocuous seeming as the Germans' nasty little unexploded bombs. Sammy loathes the civil servant in charge, R.B. Waring, played by Jack Hawkins, a time server trying to push through a new kind of artillery gun in the face of military scepticism and Sammy's own research indicating that the weapon is ineffective. His boss's own position is dependent on the continued existence of a certain pompous War Office minister, played by Robert Morley, whose imminent sacking may herald a top-down change of personnel. Sammy himself is too grumpily self-pitying and proud to fight for his department's existence, or indeed to jockey for the top job himself. This all comes to a head in the extraordinary committee room sequence, in which the top brass and civil servants have an ill-tempered discussion in the presence of a framed photograph of Winston Churchill, the statesman who of course famously tried to scupper on patriotic grounds the Powell Pressburger film The Life and Death of Colonel Blimp. The wretchedly formal and conceited waffle of these men is almost inaudible against the background of drilling and construction work taking place outside. We absorb the incompetence and absurdity of all this as the camera tracks along the stuffy faces. The final scene is notable for a vivid new character, a gutsy, forthright, kittenishly beautiful ATS corporal played by Renee Asherson on a radio headset, who has to relay all of Sammy's debonair commentary as he crouches all alone on the beach, defusing the bomb. It's a character to compare with Kim Hunter's USAF radio operator talking to David Niven at the beginning of A Matter of Life and Death. The sheer strength and confidence in Powell and Pressburger's filmmaking is a pleasure, and their distinctive love of adventure and romance. That's it. Please give this vlog a like and a share. Please subscribe and leave a comment. And please buy my new book, a collection of short stories entitled The Body in the Mobile Library. And also, if you're anywhere near the Essex area, please come along to the reading from this that I'm giving at the Waterstones bookshop in Brentwood next Thursday, the 6th of June at 7 p.m. The booking link is given below. See you there.